Okay, here is some text tool operations. Let's see, the clipping mask. Yeah, text and the clipping mask for this. We went over this in class on Monday. So here's a short little video to kind of cover that. I'm just going to grab my text tool, T for text tool, and just draw a text box. And then I'll just set the word text. And if I hit Apple Shift period, I can make this text larger. If I hit Apple Shift comma, I can make it smaller. So I'm just going to go ahead and actually just use my type palette. So Apple T for type, or you can go to Window, Type, Character. And I'll just set this at, I don't know, 200. So that makes it really big. Let me see if I have some extra bold going on over here. Maybe. There's extra bold. Wonderful. So here's my text, and it's type, so I can edit that if I want to. Let's see, I can delete that or whatever. It's straight running type. In Illustrator and InDesign, you can convert your type to outlines, and what that does is it takes your type and it actually converts it into a shape. And once you've done this, you can't edit that text anymore. It's shapes. You can't just convert it back to type. You can play around with it, which is lots of fun. So I'm actually just gonna copy this T, so Apple C, and I'll just paste that in front. And I'm just gonna scale this really big. And here I can affect the opacity of it or whatever. So let me move this text down here. So what I'm going to do is I just want to paste some text inside of this T, so I'm going to use what's called the area type tool to do that. I've already brought in some lorem ipsum onto my screen into another text box over here, so I'm just going to actually just click inside of this, hit select all, Apple A, and then copy Apple C. I'll come back over here to my T, and I'll come over to my text tool, hold down, and select area type tool. If I click directly on my path with my type tool, I do that every time. When you convert your text to outlines, it might be a compound path and it might be grouped, and you cannot paste text inside of a compound path or a group. So I'm going to go to Object, Compound Path, Release, and I don't need to ungroup it, but I just check to make sure. And now I should be able to just click with my area type tool on my letter that's been converted to outlines. And I should be able to just paste this text, which I can, which is great. So that's one thing you can do. That's good times. Let's see. Let me go ahead and fill this all in, and I'm just copying and pasting within my text frame here. So okay, so that's text inside of a shape. I'm gonna copy just part of my text object. So a text object is the type, and then it's also the path that the text is inside of. So I'm going to come with my white arrow and just come over here and select several points on my text object, on the path that my text is pasted inside of. Notice that when my text object is selected, my text is selected. See the blue lines? So if I use my white arrow and just click on the path, you'll see that only the path gets selected. So that's what I'm trying to do here, because I'm actually just going to type on my path. So I've selected several points, which selects the segments in between also, and I'll just copy those. I'm going to select my text object and lock this. That's Apple 2. So that's locked now, and then I'll just paste that segment in front. By going to Edit, Paste in Front. That pasted exactly where I got it from. And then I can take some text and I can actually just type right on that line. So I'm going to come over here to my text, and I'll just copy some of this. I'm going to select my line, I'll come over to my text tool, pick the Type on Path tool, and I can click on this line, and you can see that I've pasted on my path. So now I'm just gonna use the baseline shift to separate this a little bit from the path that I've typed on, so that just raises it up. I'll set that at 5. And if you have your if you've typed on a path, you'll see that that you have these handles that will allow you to move your text around, which is pretty handy. So okay, so this is all kind of coming off my artboard. So I just selected everything. I have to unlock stuff first, so I just unlocked all that stuff, and I'm just scaling it so it's a little bit smaller. Okay, so that's great. So that's text in a path and on a path. Let me also show you quickly about clipping masks. My text down here is it's shapes. You can't paste inside of type. So I'm actually just going to ungroup this. I'm going to make use of this text block that's over here. You could also just use an image by going to Edit and Place. So I'm just going to throw this text behind this letter T. I'm going to go to Object, Arrange, Send to Back. I'll take my letter T, I'll select my text object, and I'll go to Object, Clipping Mask, Make, and you can see that that just pastes my text directly inside of my text, inside of my shape. So that's a clipping mask. Now if you wanted to, for instance, paste your text or an object inside of all of your shapes, the only way that you can do that, well, you could artfully duplicate everything and do it over and over again, or you could just take all of your shapes, I'm just locking that, together and just make a compound path out of those first, and then you can paste the text into all of them at once. So I'm going to Compound Path, Make. Now this text these 4 shapes are acting as one object. I'm shift selecting my text block here, and I'm just going to Clipping Mask and Make, and you can see that that pastes all of my text into my type. So I'm going to unlock this, and I'll change the opacity by going to opacity up at the top here, and I'll change that to like 50 for instance. Yeah, so that's kind of crazy. So yep, so I think we're done with clipping masks here, and I'll see you in class.